right, let's get it fired up. Wait for my signal. You guys can probably see me, but I can't see me yet. We're starting retrieving content. God, YouTube's slow. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to this month's live Q&A. If you guys could let me know that you can see me, you can hear me, everything looks good over in your world on your screen or phone or computer or whatever you're watching this on. If you could let me know over in the comment box that that we're good to go. I'm good to go. So, you guys are probably wondering where I'm at, why I'm not on the AZT, what's going on. So, that's an A-OK from Sean. Everybody else good? Are we good? Can you hear me? It says my stream health, whatever that means, is not very good, but I mean, it looks good to me. It's all feeding through. Maybe it's just YouTube. YouTube's weird platform. Always giving me problems. You guys know that I usually can't do one of these Q&As without there being some sort of a problem. So I guess we'll see what's up. A little pixelated. See, there's a problem. Always a problem. So, yep, hotel Wi-Fi is exactly right. Actually, the Wi-Fi here is not too bad, so it probably is just YouTube. They're like doing a bunch of stuff, rebooting the system. They're trying to get me to use this new platform they just rolled out, this new Creator Studio. If any of you guys do YouTube, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's get back to the issue at hand. Where am I at? I am actually in Salt Lake City, Utah. So to kind of fill you guys in on what happened on the Arizona Trail is I got to Pine, Arizona, and I was originally planning on jumping off in Flagstaff for just a little bit, just because there is still so much snow up on the North Rim. And you know, it's not really a thing of snow because you guys know last year I hiked in a ton of snow on the PCT. But for me, it was more about shooting the film, right? Like, the Arizona Trail rarely ever has snow on it when people are hiking, at least not in the areas that there's snow right now. And I didn't want to kind of tarnish the film with weather that is not really representative, that represents the Arizona Trail very well. You know, usually the Arizona Trail is dry and it's beautiful and blue skies all the time, and this year has just been a freak year out on the trail, and there's just a ton of snow and mud and rain. It's wacky, and from what I understand, it's not over yet. So instead of jumping off in Flagstaff to let the snow melt, by the time I got to Pine, everybody ahead of me, and when I say everybody, there was maybe like a good 10 hikers, not even that, ahead of me, maybe 8 hikers ahead of me. Everybody was jumping off at Mormon Lake. If you're familiar with the Arizona Trail or that section, it's basically like 2 days before you get to Flagstaff, and people were just jumping off at Mormon Lake because of the mud. If you guys are familiar with the Southwest, or Arizona in particular, they have what is called caliche mud, or at least that's what I've heard it referred to. Other people just call it sticky mud. And it's just like red clay mud crap. And as soon as that dirt gets wet, it creates this just horrible mud that just sucks to everything. So everyone that I know that was ahead of me was basically having their mileage cut in half every single day, trying to get from Pine to Mormon Lake to Flagstaff, just because that mud was just caking on the bottom of their shoes and they were just fighting it. Basically, the trail from Pine all the way to Flag is a lot of Forest Service roads. So all those Forest Service roads are flooded out because of all of the snow that that happened, you know, over this winter, and that happened very late. These really late winter storms. So obviously, I have another late winter storm problem, just like on the PCT last year. So instead of jumping off in Flagstaff to let some of that snow melt, I decided to go ahead and get off in Pine, just because I didn't want to jeopardize footage. Because if I was on the trail and I'm fighting the snow and I'm fighting the mud, you know, chances are whipping out the camera, being motivated to film and shoot, probably not very likely. If you guys have ever hiked in mud and snow, that's usually your main focus, and it's pretty annoying, it's pretty aggravating, and I didn't want that to detour what I was filming on the trail. So I decided to go ahead and jump off, and instead of sticking around Arizona, I kind of had this little side project that I've been wanting to work on for a while that was up here in Salt Lake. So I decided instead of waiting until I got off the trail, the original plan was I was going to wait till I got off the Arizona trail. I was going to shoot up here to Utah for about 2 weeks, 10 to 14 days, and then I was going to go out back to Indiana, jump on a plane, go to Scotland. So I kind of had this 2-week buffer between the Arizona trail and Scotland, but because of the weather, I decided to just go ahead, jump up here to Salt Lake, and just kind of do the little project that I've been wanting to do. So it was nice having this little break off of the trail. The mud has definitely dried up. I know a bunch of hikers that have gotten back on. They've taken back off, headed back towards Flagstaff, and the conditions are much, much better. So tomorrow morning, I'm getting up super early, jumping in the van and driving back to Flagstaff. I'm going to drop my van off again and then get a ride from Flagstaff back down to Pine and start hiking the trail on Monday morning. Woo, that was a lot of stuff to say. So that is what is going on with me, why I am randomly in Salt Lake City, and when I am going back to do the trail. So apparently there's still a ton of snow on the North Rim. That's probably something I'm not going to avoid. But that's not as big of a deal to me as the mud. It's really not. Hiking on snow and hiking through snow, especially just in that last section of the trail, not that big of a deal to me. It's really that section from Pine to Flag that I was totally worried about with all that crappy mud. And you know, I'm a pretty stubborn person. I'll usually push through stuff on a trail just to do a through hike, but this year I'm really trying to do some stuff different, right? I'm trying to really listen to my body, listen to the trail, and make smarter decisions, just for a better long-term outcome, I guess. Is that a phrase? Yeah, long-term outcome. Yeah, just didn't want to jeopardize anything, so I decided to jump off, and I'm glad I did, because I got some stuff done. I got my taxes done, which I was kind of worried that I wasn't going to be able to get my taxes done. And as you guys know, I've had a ton of problems with the editing software that I was using to do my videos from the trail, and it was just a nightmare getting videos done out on the trail. So I had a little bit of time where I was actually able to sit down, edit a couple videos. I actually still have to finish up a video tonight, so I can have those backlogged so they're not late, so no one's waiting on them, and so I'm not fighting the stupid editing software that I was using on my phone. So I'm gonna grab my coffee here real quick. So I'm trying to get caffeinated, stay jacked up with caffeine so I can stay up all night and finish this stuff before I head out of here in the morning. So real quick, before we get into the Q&A, I wanted to talk to any of you out there that are level 3 and up patrons. Whether you're here for the live feed or whether you're going to be watching this later, you might have noticed that on Patreon, the level 3 reward has changed. It's changed wording. It used to say gear giveaway, and what I typically do for level 3 and up patrons is every month I try to do a gear giveaway. So Patreon is not okay with giveaways. Apparently they look at it as gambling because you are becoming a patron of mine, and in return you might get a chance to win something. I've been kind of fighting them for about a month and a half with this, telling them that, you know, that's not what it is. I give away gear. I do it over on my YouTube channel for my main audience all the time. It was just a reward, and that I've done it for a year now, and they're just now having a problem with it. So real quick, let's get this out of the way. It is now called the Gearbox. So what level 3 and up is every month I'm going to be doing kind of a live feed like this. Sometimes I might do a recorded feed, and it's basically going to be a very special video and a very special live feed where I want to talk with you guys about some of the new gear that I'm using, some of the stuff that I'm prototyping, testing out, so you guys get to see it. You guys get all the information and the specs about it way before the YouTube audience or the main the other audience, my non-patron audience, gets to see all of that. And then also you'll see there in the fine print that it says that every month I will also be doing giving some discount codes on gear. A lot of companies get a hold of me, especially ones that I work with, especially some for the film, that always want to give little codes and stuff. So I'm trying to work with some of the companies and being able to give you guys some special discount codes and stuff like that, promotional codes, so you can use if you're thinking about, you know, buying a new tent or buying a new pack or, you know, whatever. So that is now what I will be doing. Tonight we will still give away some gear. I asked them if I could still do one last gear giveaway, with calling it a giveaway. So we will do that tonight, and I'll send all you guys a message. I'll try to send you a message letting you know kind of what I'm doing with that, and I still want to be able to give you guys gear, but I can't give it away. I can't pick one person because apparently to Patreon that is gambling. So super silly, but I digress. And let's start the Q&A. So if you guys want to ask me some questions about the film, maybe the trail, maybe some of the stuff that I have coming up within this next year. You know, now that I've kind of let you guys know that I am going to Scotland, I'm probably ready to share a little bit more information about, not a little bit of, I'll share all the information about my Scotland hike. So if you guys have any questions about who I'm going with, when I'm going with, why I'm going, when I'm going to be back, what I have planned for the rest of the year, throw it over here in the question box, and I will answer as many questions as possible. Excuse me. It is really dry here, like a lot drier than it was in Arizona, which doesn't make any sense to me. So I just had this like dry throat cough all week that I've been here. Leonida says Patreon must be based in Alabama. Probably. Yes, what, when, why, and where. So I would assume that Sean is asking about the Scotland trip. So I am leaving the U.S. on, so I'm going to finish the Arizona trail. I'm driving the van back to Indiana, where I'm going to meet back up with Snuggles. I'm going to drop off the van with her. I'm going to spend about 5 days hanging out with her. And then I am flying from Indiana to Orlando, jumping on a flight the next day, and on May the 8th, I will be flying into Glastonbury. I'll be going over there and then making my way to Scotland. So who I'm going with is I'm actually going with the guys from Z-Packs. So I'll be going with the owner, Joe Valesco, and Matt Favreau, who I've known for a couple years, and then some people. If you guys follow along with Z-Packs or know any of the people that they typically hike with, you might know a hiker by the name of Plug It In. His real name is Benny. Benny will also be going, or Plug It In will also be going. And then two other, actually, I hate using this term, but YouTube hikers. So the other hikers that will be going are my buddy and dude that I just am absolutely in awe of all the time, and that's the Black Alaskan. If you guys don't know who that is, his name is Daniel White, and he hiked the AT in 2017, I believe, and just had an awesome trail vlog. He tried to upload as regularly as possible. Super funny, super witty. What's with the A? A. So super witty, super funny guy. I've been really looking forward to hiking with him. And then another guy on YouTube by the name of Bigfoot. He will also be going on this trip. So it'll be me, the Black Alaskan, Bigfoot, the guys from Z-Packs, Plug It In, and somebody else is going that I don't know. And we are actually going over to do, yes, Leonidas guessed it, the TGO Challenge. So the TGO Challenge is this hike that they have every year, and you basically hike from coast to coast. You need to practice saying for when you get to Scotland. Gotcha. Thanks, Leonidas. I just thought you guys were being weird. Or I. So I'm going to be doing the TGO challenge. So you have so many days. I think we're going to try to do it in 15 days. I think it's 20. To be honest, I don't know. I think it's 20 something days you had to get from coast to coast. And you basically route your own hike through the country. So you can route it through roads or high route, low route. But the guys from Z-Packs did it a few years ago, and they wanted to go do it again. So they have basically routed this whole hike that we're going to be doing. And I'm going to be showing up to do this hike with them. So totally different from anything that I've done before, going over with a bunch of random people that I've never hiked with and doing kind of this team challenge, this team hike. So super cool. You guys might remember earlier, a few months ago, I made a video talking about how this year in particular, and I've told you guys that I've wanted to do a lot of different things this year. You know, not only doing the film, doing different types of hikes, but I also want to work more with people in the hiking community, whether that's gear companies, whether that's other people on YouTube, whether that is other quote unquote famous hikers. I hate that term too. But I just want to be more involved with the trail community as a whole. You know, I've spent the last 2 going on 3 years telling my story, making videos about my story and what I'm doing. And now I feel like it's time to start participating with other people and telling other people's stories, why I'm making this film, why I really want to start working with the Arizona Trail Association when I get off the trail. I just want to start working with other people in this community that I love so much and it's done so much for me. I want to give back to that community. So that's the whole point of this year. So going over with Z-Packs is kind of a first step in doing that. Well, I guess the film is the first step. This is the second step in doing that, and just kind of being involved with some other people in the hiking community and just kind of collaborating with more people. You guys will see a lot more collaborations in my media, whether it's on my YouTube channel, over on outdoorevolution.com, or basically anything that I'm doing. A lot of collaboration is coming from this year. So let's see, I tackled where I'm going, when I'm going, who I'm going with, and why I'm going. I think that takes care of the Scotland question. As the Magpie Flies wrote, you probably already addressed this and I may have missed it, but is there a particular reason you're editing these videos on your phone this year instead of using your editor like on the PCT? I don't know if I've really touched on that. So just to kind of not give too much information, but just kind of wing in some information for you guys. The person who was editing my videos last year, her name was Kat. We no longer work together. We had some differences in kind of how editing needed to be done. When it's a long story, no hard feelings or anything, but we just decided it probably wasn't best to work together anymore. So we stopped working together, and because of that, you know, I really wanted to take back doing my own stuff. You know, I don't want to be just a YouTuber, right? I don't want to be just a face and some sort of a reality TV star. And I loved that I had the help of somebody editing my videos last year. But I really enjoy editing videos, especially my trip videos. I like to consider myself a little bit of a videographer and a little bit, I don't want to say cinematographer, that's taking it too far. But I love cinematography. I consider myself a videographer. So I really want to edit my own videos. When someone watches one of my videos, I want them to know that I did that. I filmed it. It's me in it, and I edit it. So this year, even though it's a pain, even though I'm having problems with it, it meant a lot for me to do my own stuff. So that's why I didn't even think about bringing a completely different a different editor on or any of that. It was just, it ended up being, it was nice when I was on the PCT because I didn't have to worry about it. But when I got off the trail, it just kind of became an issue. So we went our separate ways, and now I'm doing my own thing, even though sometimes it doesn't work out, and sometimes I have to go a week without posting a video. But to me, in the long run, it's worth it to be able to keep my hands dipped in it and do it how I want to do it and how I want to present it to you guys. So that was a really long-winded way of saying I don't work with an editor anymore. And that doesn't mean that I won't in the future, because I might end up doing that in the future with some of the other projects that I have coming up. But for now, no, it's just me. That totally makes sense. Having creative control is really nice, especially when you have a vision when you're filming and how it's going to look. Yeah, you know, the hard thing is really, it's hard to tell somebody how to edit your voice, you know, how you want to say things, how you want to deliver things, and how your vision. It's really, really hard to find somebody that's on the same page as you and understands what your quote-unquote vision is. And that's, I think that was the main problem. Hi, Sarah. I'm curious, how are you editing on the trail? So I was using, I guess I still am using, a program, a phone editing software, mobile editing software called Adobe Rush CC. So from time to time, I use Adobe Premiere, which is a video editing software. I use that on my computer to do some of my videos. And Adobe, I think it was just this past year, put out a mobile version of that editing software. And I used it a little bit before I hit the trail, and it worked just fine. It seemed like it was going to be good. It was going to be a good match. And then it just continually crashed on me. I would start editing on the trail, everything would be going good. I would get into a town, and it just wouldn't work anymore. I'd be in the middle of editing and the program would just crash. My phone would drop the program, and then I would come back into the project and it would have slowed footage down, deleted music, sound wouldn't be there. It was a nightmare. It still is a nightmare. I still haven't 100% figured out how to edit on that successfully without bringing like an iPad. So on an iPhone, not so good. I do have an iPad mini that I got not too long ago, and it works a lot better on the iPad, but on the phone, just doesn't work that well. So I use that sometimes, and then the other phone editing software that I use is iMovie for phone, which works, but it doesn't have a lot of features. I can't really edit the way I want to edit. It's very basic, very simple, but it gets the job done. And the last video that you guys saw, that was edited in iMovie. The first video was edited in Adobe Premiere Rush. And then the video that's coming out this coming up week for you guys to see is done on my laptop, because I've had my laptop for the last 10 days. So I've been able to edit some videos the way I like to edit videos. So again, long-winded answer to your question. Tony said, I believe you said before you plan to do the SHT this year sometime. Are you still planning on doing that? Or am I crazy and you never planned on it? No, I've never. Superior Hiking Trail isn't on my list right now. I would like to do it sometime in the future, but not this year. So you're not crazy, because I do talk about a lot of trails, but no, I'm not doing the Superior Hiking Trail this year or anytime soon. Donovan said, hey, just a heads up, on my iPhone, when I click the link you provide, I'm not able to access the chat on your live streams. Yeah, the mobile stuff is always weird. He said if you press the 3 dots in the upper right corner and press desktop, you will be able to open the YouTube app and access the comments. Took me a while. Yeah, there's a lot of things that YouTube is just not optimized for mobile, which always blows me away, because I think more people view videos on their phone than they ever do on anything else. So it blows me away that there's so many problems. The annotations at the end of my videos, like where, you know, a video comes up and a little subscribe button and my little Patreon link. That doesn't work on mobile either. It only works on desktop. And again, I get more traffic from cell phones than I do a laptop or a TV or anything else. So YouTube just, they drop the ball a lot. We'll say that. Sarah says, cool, I didn't realize Rush worked on mobile. Yeah, I believe that Rush was designed for mobile. I think. Jesper says, could you go through your sock care routine? Seems like you usually bring 2 pairs of socks. So when do you swap socks? How many times do you swap before washing? What if they're wet? All that stuff. If they're wet, I wear them. If my socks are wet, I wear them until they dry out. The worst thing that I have ever done is taking off wet socks, putting on dry socks, and then hanging my socks off my pack, is then it like rains, and then I have no dry socks. So typically I just hike in wet socks. They dry out pretty quick, especially if you're using like a really ventilated shoe, like the shoes that I use. Any type of trail run or anything that's not waterproof, that's not Gore-Tex, socks dry out quick. I do carry 2 pairs of socks. I always wear a pair of socks. I always have a dry pair of socks in my pack. I have to admit, I don't swap my socks a lot. Typically, I hike in a pair. There is a child being beaten or massacred outside of my door, apparently. I don't know if you guys could hear that. Hotels, man, you gotta love hotels. So I typically will hike in my socks until they start getting, as I like to affectionately call, the crustiness to them. When they start getting hard because dirt and sand has caked into them with sweat and stuff, that's when I swap them out. Strangely enough, though, I don't like swapping out socks because sometimes I feel like if I swap my socks, it will actually create blisters. And that's just because I feel like my feet get used to wearing like 1 pair of socks, and then if I swap my socks out the next day, like there's new things rubbing on my feet. I don't know, I could be totally wrong, and it could actually be the other way around, but yeah, I don't swap my socks out as much as I probably should. Yeah, 2 pairs of socks. I wear them if they're wet. When I get to town, I wash both pairs. Sarah said, thanks for the info. I'm an artist and getting ready to hike the PCT. Sweet. I'm not sure how I'll be shooting, but I love the high quality of your videography. Kudos to you for carrying all that gear. Yeah, sometimes it's not very fun. But it's always worth it. It's always worth it to be able to make some good media, I think. Sean says, is the North Country Trail ever in the back of your mind for the distant future? You know, all trails are in the back of my mind for the distant future. But no, nothing soon. I've thought about it. I've looked into it. It looks like a good trail. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see if it ever comes to happen, or if it's just one of those trails that I think about and I never get to. So, yeah. Ken says, sorry to change the subject, but did you run into any poodle dog bush on the southern PCT? If so, any issues? Yeah, I saw a bunch of poodle dog bush. It's in some of my videos. I called it out in some of my videos, but I have never, no issues of it. It's pretty distinct. You can usually smell it. It smells a lot like pot. So you can usually be coming down the trail and you can instantly smell it. So it's either a bunch of hikers getting stoned on the trail, or it's poodle dog bush. And it looks very, very like poodle dog bush. It's pretty hard to mistake for anything else. So as long as you just kind of hike around it and try to avoid it. No, I didn't have any problems. I never got a rash. I don't think I know anybody out on the trail last year that got a rash or anything from poodle dog bush. So, but yeah, it's out there. I saw a bunch of it, especially around Idlewild. I probably saw the most poodle dog bush right around Idlewild. So, do you watch your old videos of trails, or do you make it then never watch it again? That's a good question. I typically don't watch my videos. No, there's actually videos from the PCT that I've never seen. Um, I've seen like the first couple of videos, and I've seen like the last couple of videos, but all the ones in between, I didn't watch. I filmed them, I hiked them, I lived them. I gave them to the editor. The editor did them, and I never really got a chance to watch them. So yeah, I don't know. I live it. I film it. Not only do I get to hike it and I get to see it, and then I get to stop, hike back, grab my camera, film it, hike it again. As you guys see it, I come back and forth a lot. So I don't really need to watch it again. I've seen it enough. I saw the trail enough. There are a handful of my videos that I like to kind of every once in a while I'll go back and I'll kind of look through just to kind of remember what I did in a couple of them. Especially like if I have some sort of an idea or if I'm going to use a certain song, a lot of times I'll go back and make sure like was that a song that I used in that video, and I'll go back and just like watch a couple seconds of it, but actually watching it from like start to end, no. And that goes for the same with all my videos. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched one of my sit down videos that I've ever made. I spend enough time watching them tons of times. I film them, I edit them. When they're done being edited, I watch it to make sure that it's all okay. There's no mistakes, there's no glitches, and then I upload it, and then that's it. I'm done watching it. If you if you do a lot of editing, you'll know that after you watch a video, especially a clip, like 20 times in a row to try to figure out where to cut it, you never ever want to see that video clip again. Like you just hate watching it. So yeah, no, I do not watch it. Leonida says, just some info, 30 to 35 people have done the Pinhoti this year. Wow, up about 25 or so from the entirety of last year. Crazy to think about after that scarcity of people last year. Yeah, man. When I was on the Pinhoti Trail, I mean, obviously I hiked with Toasted Toad, I hiked with you, and that was it. Like, I never saw anybody on that trail. I basically had that trail all to myself. I don't even think whenever you and me were hiking together, we ever saw another person. Yeah, starting to get popular. I know Guthook is about to release their Guthook app of the Pinhoti. Or have they? Have they released the Guthook app yet? Because I haven't seen it if they have. I'd be interested to know if they've done that. Sarah says, let me know if this is too much information, but do you earn more from getting gear list links from Patreon or gear list links from, do I earn more from gear list links, Patreon, or whatever? Can you talk about building your audience and income stream? I mean, it might be a little bit personal information. I have a lot of very small little income things. I can tell you that Patreon, I have always, from the get-go, always made sure that you guys helping me and you guys supporting me every month, that money goes into the things that I do, which is why I always set a goal. So that money is always set aside, and it's actually its own separate account. So then if I want to take off to Scotland for 22 days to go do a hike, that money is helping, plane tickets, travel expenses. PCT last year, that hike was funded by you guys. You guys funded that hike. And in return, I put out the media on it. So it's always been that way. So I don't really look at Patreon as my income necessarily, because I always use it to put back into media that I create to share with you guys. Always, always, always. As far as gear links, YouTube, the Etsy store that we have, all the little things that I do, I don't think that I really make more from any of it. It's all just sort of, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. Snuggles and I live a very simple life, very minimalistic, and to be honest, the only thing that I really spend any money on is like electronics, like camera equipment, computer stuff, because that's my job, that's what I do, so that's the stuff that I need. Those are my tools, the tools of my trade. But yeah, it's really I don't know if I really make like more from any one thing. They're all just kind of, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there to kind of make up this one income that Snuggles and I live off of. So not really too much information, but to be honest, there's not really too much information to give. So hopefully that helps. Um, you know, the whole gear links thing, and what Sarah's talking about is like affiliate links. Um, I would say that gear list links and affiliate links, you know, I'll give you that. Affiliate links probably are the majority of income. Sometimes, some months, just because, you know, holiday seasons roll around, people are thinking about buying gifts, or people are about to do a through hike. So they go to my website and they look at my gear list from hikes that I've done, like my PCT gear list and stuff. And if you guys don't know how Amazon Associates works, if you use one of those links and you buy a piece of gear that I suggested or that you saw, um, you know, I make a commission off of that at no cost to you guys. I don't have to pay anything to be an affiliate, and Amazon sells products. So it's like a win, 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 win situation. Pretty cool that Amazon does that, actually. To be honest, I'm always blown away that one of these days Amazon just doesn't be like, you know, we're done doing that. We're never going to do that again because we're losing money on that. But they still do it. They still do the associate links. They still do the affiliate links. So that definitely helps. Definitely helps income. Helps put gas in the van. Helps buy me coffee. And every once in a while, it helps me stay in a hotel room. So I've actually spent the last 8 days in the van, because I have the van. I picked it up in Flagstaff. So I've been the last 8 days in the van, just parked on city streets here in Salt Lake City. So not in like BLM land and places where I typically live at and camp. So tonight, because I was doing this live stream Q&A, because I have a video to get done editing, because I'm going to leave really early in the morning, I feel like, you know what? I'll treat myself. I'll splurge a little bit and I'll get a hotel room. So that's why I'm in this luxurious hotel room. Not really that luxurious. It's a Holiday Inn. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps answer some of those questions. Oh, and can I talk about building my audience? And my audience, you know what? To be honest, Sarah, I still have no clue how I built my audience. I'm still blown away every day that so many people care about what I do, and so many people are inspired, and so many people follow me and are entertained by me, get information from me. It blows me away every single day. I think that how you build your audience, how I built an audience, was just being myself, being true, being real, putting it all out on Front Street, showing people who I am, and just I don't know, trying to relate, trying to connect with the community that I love so much. That's what it's all about to me. I think if you force it, if you go into it and you're like, I'm going to be a YouTube star and I'm going to make a living from doing it, I think you'll fail every single time. But I think if you go into it with the right intentions, and if you get lucky, and you have that one thing that people want, or I still don't know what that one thing is for me, but you know, that's what works. People want to see honesty. People want to see someone being real, and that's what I've always tried to give people. I always try to be as real as I possibly can, without being like inappropriate or something. So, yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Really long-winded. I think that was like a 10-minute answer to that question, but hopefully that helps. Leonardo says, we saw the one guy that looked like he was lost. It is out already. Right on. Oh, the Gut Hook released in late October, if I remember right. I had the full non-beta version. I went out in November. Oh, right on. Cool. I have to check that out. I'd like to do that trail again, actually. I would love to do the Penhody Trail again. K Park says, have you ever addressed how you got your trail name? Wife is wondering. I can't remember it in a past Q&A. Yeah, I think that I have. I think that I've said how I got my trail name a couple times, but I'll tell the story again, I guess. I love to wax intellectual about, survival of the fittest. And all right, here we go. We'll go back. Out on the AT, I had just come off of racing triathlon semi-professionally for 8 years. Uh-oh, did I lose my stream? Hold on. We're gonna wait a second. I got the little spinny thing. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me? Let me know over here if you guys can hear me or if you have lost me. Because I have a spinny thing. I don't know what a spinny thing means, but anybody hear me? I'm back. You're still good. Yep, can hear you. Okay, cool. See, YouTube's weird. Maybe it's the hotel Wi-Fi. I don't know. So, anyways, I was out on the AT, and I just come off racing semi-pro triathlon. Semi-pro is a really fancy way for people to say I have sponsors, but they don't pay for anything. So I had racing sponsors, but they didn't actually give me any. They gave me free gear every once in a while, and they gave me like discount codes and stuff if I was buying new shoes or new bikes. Anyways, I came off racing and I was super fit. And first night out on the trail, I was talking about how fit I was and how, if anybody was making a Katahdin, I was kind of cocky. I was talking about how I had this trail in the bag. I felt good. I felt fit. So I was kind of talking about survival of the fittest. But then I was also talking a lot about, how I've done a lot of things. I owned a restaurant for a while, if you guys don't know that. I owned a recording studio for a while. I was an indoor spinning instructor for a while. I was a slot machine technician at a casino. I worked in reprogrammed slot boards. I was a screen printer. I raced triathlon. I'm a machinist, tool, and die maker by trade. So I'm constantly trying to evolve myself and learn new skills, new trades, and I'm constantly doing things. So I'm constantly a changing person. I always have been. So with that, the beard, and then I was also having a discussion about religion. I'm not a very religious person, but I find all religions very fascinating, and I very much respect everyone's religions. I think it's wrong for anybody to tell someone that they're wrong for what they believe in. And I was having a conversation with somebody about that. And the next morning, I got up, and there's this couple, and they said, we have the perfect trail name for you. Absolutely the perfect trail name. I was like, okay. And they're like, Darwin. Because of survival of the fittest, because of constantly a changing person, evolving, and because I was talking about religion, which, for the record, people get that wrong. Darwin had nothing to do with religion. People think that Charles Darwin was anti-religion, and that's not true if you've ever read anything about Charles Darwin. So that's how I got my trail name, Darwin, and very happy that I got that trail name because it has been one of the greatest gifts that anyone ever gave me, and obviously it's kind of become my identity. So yeah, that's how I got my trail name. Again, long-winded way. I'm in the mood to talk tonight. I've been by myself for like almost 8 days, just living in the van, so I'm in the mood to talk. Sarah says, thanks for the income info. It is inspiring how you structure your lifestyle. I appreciate how you maintain your authenticity and passion while being so public. Yeah, I try. Dave says, would the AZT be a good first bikepacking trip? No. I tried to bike pack it. I tried to through ride it in 2016. It is a very, very challenging trail. A good trail to basically do a first big bike packing trip would actually be the Ride the Divide route. The one that kind of is right next to the Continental Divide. It's a lot of Forest Service roads. It's a lot of the type of stuff that you want to ride when you're doing bike packing. The Arizona Trail is a very technical trail. Super technical. Lots of rocks, lots of steep climbs, lots of steep descents. It's a fun trail. It's a beautiful, amazing trail, but it is not. I would not consider it a good first bikepacking trip. There's a lot better stuff that would be a lot of other stuff that would be better suited for a first time bikepacking trip. So hopefully that helps. Kilt for the TGO. No, I will not be rocking a kilt, Leonidas. Nope. Keep going, send to work. No, I'm just not a kilt dude. Not that I have anything against kilts. I like shorts. No kilt. All right, so I'm out of questions for right now. If you guys got a question for me, throw it over here in the comment box. If it's about the film, it's about the Arizona Trail, if it's about whatever is going on with me right now, what will be going on with me, yeah, throw something over there. We got about 15 more minutes of the live Q&A, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel this live stream, and I'm going to throw up another live stream for all of you level 3 and up patrons. So keep an eye on the Patreon page, because I'm going to throw that up, and you can sign into that link, and then we will do the giveaway. And I'm sorry, not a giveaway, the Gearbox, as it is now called, the monthly Gearbox. So make sure that you're over there. K Park says, thank you for the answer. You've inspired me to get back on the trail. I'm going to start training for the Pacific Northwest Trail in 2021. Sweet. I've been hiking with a guy out on the Arizona Trail that hiked it last year and absolutely loved it. You guys will see more of him in the videos coming up, but yeah, he absolutely loved it, and that was his first completed through hike, was the PNT. And from what I understand, it is a very difficult trail. Routing that trail, overall terrain, weather, and yeah, that was his first, which is really impressive. So, what are you most excited to see in Scotland? Are you nervous about hiking in such a large group? I'm not nervous about hiking in such a large group, but it's going to be weird to hike in a group because I'm used to being a very solo hiker and kind of doing my own thing. So it'll definitely be a different experience, one that I really don't know what to expect yet, but it'll be fun. I mean, that's what I want this year. I'm trying to change it up this year, do stuff that I don't typically do, and step out of my comfort zone. So that'll be a cool thing to do, I think. And what am I most excited to see in Scotland? Scotland. This is the first time I've ever been overseas. I've never been in another country before. First time. So I am really excited to go to Scotland. I'm really excited to go to the UK. Super excited. Never been, always wanted to go. So pretty cool way to go for the first time. Going to do this hike with a bunch of people. So yeah. Do you have an estimate on how much footage you have for the AZT already? No. So to kind of fill you guys in on how the film is going, because of the trail conditions, and because what I've realized coming out here is how much I want to film. Okay, how much I actually want to capture on camera. And when you're doing something like a through hike and you're still having to consider doing, 15 to 20 to 25 miles a day, it's really hard to take that time. It's really hard to properly set up a shot with gear that you can only carry on trail. Like most of the shots that I've really wanted to take, or that I have taken, I've wanted a full-size tripod. I've wanted my big lenses. I've wanted my big camera body. So the plan is I'm filming as much as I possibly can on the trail right now. And what I'm filming right now are other hikers. Other hikers interacting in camp, in towns, with each other, doing laundry, people on the trail. And then when I get back from Scotland, I'm actually going to come back out here and I'm going to spend more time on the trail filming, getting footage. So I'm actually extending the project quite a bit. I want to make sure that the film that I'm making is as good as it can possibly be. And if I just try to get everything now in one go on this hike, it's going to be rushed. It's not going to be what I want it to be. So because of that, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to make sure that I can get back, look at all the footage that I've shot, and realize, ooh, I wish that I would have shot that differently. Ooh, I wish that I would have captured that. And then come back out with bigger camera equipment, do small day hikes, overnight trips, and film more and capture more to really tell the story that I want to tell. You know, the film is like a love story to me. It's kind of how I'm structuring it. I'm trying to tell the story of the trail and of the people who it affects, people that have built it, people that have been inspired by it. And to do that, you know, it takes a lot of work. You know, it's not just me hiking. And to boot, I am filming not only stuff for the film, but stuff for the YouTube videos that you guys are watching, because that footage is separate. There's different things that I'm actually filming. So it's been a lot of work, and it will continue to be a lot of work because I want to make sure that it is perfect when it comes out. That's the main thing. So yeah, so stay tuned, because man, it's gonna be a hell of a project for sure. I definitely, the great thing about coming out is what I thought that I was gonna come out and film, what I thought that I was gonna capture, and the story that I thought that I was gonna tell has been completely turned upside down. And I've discovered that I'm telling a better story. I'm capturing better footage, and I'm going to be making a better film than I ever thought was possible. So that's the gift that the trail's given me this year, for sure. Ooh, getting dry. Plexamid versus the Duplex. Do you miss the space? Yeah, I do. I really like the Plexamid. I think it's a great tent. It's super lightweight, but I do miss my Duplex. I still think the Duplex is the perfect tent. If you're going to buy one tent, buy the Duplex. Unless you're a real small person, you don't need a lot of room, and you want a real fast, super fast setup, the Plexamid's pretty sweet. I am enjoying using it, but there are some nights on the trail that I wish I did have my Duplex. So if that means anything. K Park says, what podcast do you listen to while on trail? Do you like Backpacker Radio? You were brought up briefly in a recent episode. The podcasts that I typically listen to are a hiking podcast, the Roots podcast that John Sahorian does, but he hasn't done any since last year, so that's kind of gone away. That's really the only hiking podcast I listen to. A lot of podcasts I listen to are more like comedy podcast, or informational podcast. I listen to the Joe Rogan Experience, which is funny because I didn't used to like Joe Rogan. I didn't like him at all until I listened to his podcast, and now I really like the guy. I've been listening to his stuff for about the last year. Actually, I started listening to his podcast on the Pinhoti Trail, and I've really fallen in love with him. Super smart guy. Doesn't always come across that way in some of the other stuff that he does, but on his podcast, he's a very intelligent person. So, Joe Rogan podcast. I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. If you guys don't know who Kevin Smith is, he's a director that made some movies like Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Jay and Silent Bob, Strike Back, Dogma. He's a director, but he also has like 5 different podcasts. I listen to all of his podcasts. Penn's Sunday School. Penn Jillette, who's a magician, has a pretty funny podcast called Penn Sunday School. That's a personal favorite. I like chuckling. Joe Rogan equals Oprah for men. Joe Rogan is the Oprah for men. That's awesome. And then I also listen to the Ben Greenfield podcast. Ben Greenfield is this professional triathlete turned sports nutritionalist, science expert. And his podcast are very, like, if you're not into fitness or like diets and nutrition and stuff like that, you would hate it. I'm a big geek for stuff like that, so I do listen to the Ben Greenfield podcast. Essentially, that's about it. Um, Aside from that, I listen to a lot of music on the trail, not a whole lot of podcast. And the question, do I like backpacker radio? I've actually never listened to an episode of Backpacker Radio. Zach the Badger Davis actually contacted me to see if I wanted to be on an episode. I said sure. He told me that I had to come all the way to Colorado to be on his podcast, and I was like, sorry, I'm not coming to Colorado to be on a podcast. If I'm ever in Colorado, I'll let you know. But yeah, so that's cool that they mentioned me though in a recent episode. I'd be interested to know why I was brought up in a recent episode though. But no, I've never listened to it. I hear it's good though. I hear they're doing good stuff over there. If one uploaded a video of their own hikes, would you be interested in watching it and or perhaps giving feedback on production? To be honest, I don't have time. I try every once in a while. You can always send it to me in an email or something, and if I have time, I always like to try to check something out every once in a while. But the funny thing is, when you spend a bunch of time making content, making media, you don't consume a lot. In my off time, when I'm not making videos, when I'm not behind a camera or in front of a camera, I basically have media turned off. I like to, I like to meditate. I like to work out. I like to go out and just do day hikes. I like to hang out with my wife. I try not to consume too much media, and the media that I do consume is not hiking media. I consume like photography and filmmaking media, camera lighting. Last night I dove into this hole of lighting, professional studio lighting and stuff like that. A bunch of, I don't know, I'll get to that comment in a second. That just popped up. I don't know what that means. Um, I watch stuff about, kind of what I'm into, and that's filmmaking, that's videography. So because I make so much hiking media, I don't typically consume it. But that being said, 100% don't let that deter you. Make a video, upload it, get it out there. Send me a link. I'll try to watch it, but get it out there regardless, because hopefully somebody will find that, and hopefully it'll inspire them to get out and do the same thing. That's what I always try to instill in everybody. Don't think about it, make it, put it out there. If I would have never filmed a hike or filmed myself talking about gear, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. I just put it out there and I took a chance, and apparently it's inspiring a bunch of people to do the same. So do that, return the favor, pay it forward, make media, get it out there, explore, create, inspire. Totally. What kind of music am I into? I am a very, very eclectic person. I'm actually an audiophile. I spent a bunch of years, as I mentioned earlier, I owned a recording studio. So I'm really into production and engineering, and that really leaves it open for everything for me. I listen to a very, very eclectic taste in music. When I'm on trail, I listen to a lot of post-rock and noise rock, basically. If you guys watch my videos, you'll hear that music in my videos. I listen to the same stuff that I put in my videos. That's why I put it in my videos, because it inspires me when I'm out on trail. It's what I listen to when I'm filming, so that's what I try to put in. My throat's getting really dry. That's what happens when you talk for 59 minutes and 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds. So yeah, that's the music that I typically listen to when I'm out on the trail, or something just like that's really driving. It's got like a real driving beat to it. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of Queens of the Stone Age. I think that Josh Homme is one of the most talented songwriters. I love Josh Homme. Listen to a lot of Nick Drake. If you're not familiar with Nick Drake, he was around in the 70s, singer-songwriter, acoustic guitarist. Listen to a lot of Cigaros, Explosions in the Sky, a lot of Albert King, Sam and Dave. What was I listening to the other day? A lot of Van Morrison. Yeah, it's all over the place. I listen to everything, and I kind of have the mind of a DJ. Like I constantly, I'll not even get to the end of a song, and I already know what I want to play next, and I'll jump from like blues to like EDM to like heavy metal to jazz to country to like R&B. Like I'll go through songs like that. I love everything, absolutely. So yeah, that's the type of music that I'm into. K Park says Badger was proposed the question F Mary kill of famous thru hikers. I don't know what that means. You got Mary. You have to explain to me what that means. F Mary kill of famous thru hikers. You got Mary. I don't know what that means. You have to explain that one. Yeah. No clue. Sean, yep, I like some heavier stuff. I can never pronounce that band's name, but I know the band. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I always pronounce it wrong. I always sound like a moron when I say that band's name. So yeah, I've listened to some of their stuff. Sometimes I listen to a little heavier, kind of weirder stuff. I know that they are very like avant-garde. I can't say that word either. Very very technical, kind of weird stuff. But yeah, I'm into that. I don't like Tool though. Like I know a lot of people that like that band love Tool, and yeah, I just don't. Kaisis, is it Kaisis? So if you are into progressive rock / metal, you should check out Native Construct. Stumbled upon a couple of days ago, and it's fantastic. Unfortunately, broke up in early March, but oh well. Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, that happens. Leonidas says, in other words, Badger would marry me instead of killing me. Oh, that's good. Or banging me. So it was... Okay, F, marry, or kill. Gotcha. I'm on the same page now. They do a segment called Would You Rather. The question would be, would you rather blank, blank, or blank a famous thru hiker? So they said, would they rather F me, kill me, or marry me? Gotcha. And they would rather marry me. Ding. All right, I got it. I'm on the same page. Good. I'm glad that Zach doesn't want to kill me or screw me. That's a good thing, I reckon. I guess it's cool that he'd marry me. He seems like a pretty alright dude. I'd probably be into that. I'd probably be into marrying him. Fair enough. Yeah. Things don't work out between me and Snuggles. I might give Zach a call. Other my spelling is broken. Hiking Viking got kill. Nice. That was a weird one. Alright guys, I am down for answering one last question. It won't be whoever gets the first question over there, but whatever question I think is the most interesting, I'll give you 10 seconds to fire off a question, and I will pick the most interesting new question and I will answer it. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I know there's a lag and a delay, so I'll wait a couple seconds. 3, 2, 1. I was watching myself. All right. So the questions I have are: who inspires me? Advice for starting the PCT next week. Compensation and the who inspires me. I'll answer two. I'll be fair. So who inspires me is basically anybody out there that is doing something to inspire other people. And that kind of sounds like a weird answer. But anybody that's out there and creating something or doing something for, you know, for someone else to enjoy. I've spent a lot of time over the last month and a half, being around members of the Arizona Trail Association. People that volunteer. Fun factoid for you guys: the Arizona Trail Association is made up between 350 and 400 members. So we'll say 400 members. 3 of those people, only 3 that work for the Arizona Trail Association, actually take a salary, actually make money from being a part of the association. So that means there is, hopefully my math is right, 397 people that do it because they love it, because they love the idea. And it's a common thread that I got from so many people in the association, that the reason they do it is so people like me, people like you, equestrian, cyclists, runners, hikers, can come out and enjoy the trail. They do it because they want to give something back, and they want to give something to somebody. And I just think that's so amazing. Like that is what inspires me the most. Anybody that's creating media to inspire other people. Obviously, if you're creating media to just nothing but profit, and because you think of it as a job and because you want to be famous, like, I'm not really talking to you. But if your goal is to create media, to make a vlog, to write a book, to take a photo, to write an article, to inspire someone else to get out, I just think that's the most amazing thing. I think one of the greatest gifts that we have as human beings is that the ability to create. Like, that's what humans are good at doing. Like, we're good at creating, whether you're talking about like the creation of YouTube, or the creation of the first automobile, or the first airplane, or the cure for cancer. We're creators. It's what we do. Like, if we create something to better other people, that's what inspires me the most. I just think that's so amazing. I think that it's such a cool thing. I think it's our duty as human beings to go out and create and give something back to society that we live in. So that's kind of a goofy, maybe long-winded way of saying what inspires me are people that are doing things out of their heart to inspire other people. So I'm inspired by those who inspire. That's my biggest push, my biggest thing that kind of gets me going, that makes me want to continue making videos, that makes me want to make this film, that makes me want to launch the website that we launched, that makes me want to do these projects that I have lined up for the rest of the year. Because like, when I get that message, when I get that email or that comment of someone just saying like, hey man, like, one of your videos inspired me to get out on the trail. It inspired me to do my first thru hike. It inspired me to go on my first camping trip. That means the world to me. Like, totally means the world to me. So anybody that's out there trying to inspire other people, that's what inspires me. It's pretty amazing. And real quick, just to answer it, you guys will find out soon, but how is Nemor doing on the AZT? So to give you guys a quick little update about Nemor messed up his IT band really, really bad. Something flared up in his IT band, and he took some time off here and there, which is why in the videos you guys might see him lagging behind a lot on hiking with me. He was having to take quite a bit of zeros, and eventually we got to the point where his knee his IT man was just stressing his knee out to no end, and he had to get off the trail for a little bit, and he decided to actually head up here to Salt Lake City, pick up his van, and then he drove back to Arizona. And while I've been on the trail filming the trail, he's been in his van driving around filming things around the trail, still doing interviews, doing B-roll, filming, establishing shots, anything that he can get from being on the road and accessing a little easier than it is whenever you're hiking. And as far as how he's been, I think good. I'm actually going to see him tomorrow, so I'm headed down to Flagstaff, and he's going to meet me down there, and then he's going to take me down to Pine. And then I think he's actually going to come up here, and then his part of the hike or the production is kind of over, and then he'll be waiting for me to get back from Scotland, and then we'll go back into production, still filming some more and starting to edit for the film. So that is the plan going forward. So unfortunately, this hike just didn't work out for him, but he's still out there plugging away, capturing video, so we can make this this film together. So that's where he's at. Guys, thanks so much for joining me tonight. I know the last Q&A did not go over that well with the crappy signal and the weird location. My phone kept dying, and I think this one went kind of okay. Thanks for letting me answer some pretty good questions. This month was phenomenal questions, and thank you guys so much for asking them and getting me to open up a little bit about what inspires me, because that was made me think a lot, and it meant a lot to me to answer that question. So thank you for the awesome question. I hope everybody has an excellent rest of the week, the weekend, next week, and I will see you guys next month for another live Q&A. If you are a level 3 and up patron, give me about 5 minutes. I'm going to generate a brand new link, and I'm going to post it over on Patreon for everyone that is level 3 and up, and then we'll jump back on here and we will do the gearbox, the March gearbox, and let you guys in on some of the stuff that you can win this month. Thanks everybody. I'll see you later. All level 3 and up patrons, I'll see you in 5 minutes. Bye.